Good evening, everyone. This is Uriah Johnson here with the Lit Tyler Collective, and I'm here via Zoom with Tyler City Council member for District 2, District 2, the Deuce, Broderick McGee, talking about his time as city council member, as well as this campaign and the time of COVID and everything like that. Broderick, you know, Councilman McGee, really appreciate you joining us today. How's everything going?
Going great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking some time this evening to
Sure.
sit down and give us the opportunity to kind of have a discussion. So for those who maybe don't know, maybe aren't as familiar with city maps, things like that, who may be in your district and don't realize it, or if they're really kind of interested in terms of what is going on in the city. Can you kind of give us the parameters, the outline for District 2, and kind of what it looks like for you geographically as well as socioeconomically?
Well, I can't. This District 2 is very, very cut up. Well, that's the word I use.
I got you.
Yeah, it's a crazy area, and the way I kind of describe it to people is it starts south of Front Street, and it comes down Loop 323 all the way to Old Jacksonville. You go down Old Jacksonville, past Fresh, and even out to the Oak Creek subdivision out Old Jacksonville. So all that area, you know, from that area all the way even into the Azalea district, some parts of the Azalea district, some parts of North Tyler. But it has the Cascades subdivision, it has Briarwood, it has Butler College, it has St. Louis. A lot of those communities like that, and so it's even like I say, even parts of North Tyler on the other side of Gentry Parkway near the new fire station. So all of that part. So as you can see, it goes a long way. I
It's
mean, all of
so it's a
Glenwood.
district
Yeah.
geographically.
Oh, it really is. Yeah, it's spread out. It's spread out. Really.
And because you some of those neighborhoods you talked about,
Hmm.
those are very, even though those are some of those are close together.
Yeah.
Cascades and Butler College and St. Louis, those areas are not really too terribly far apart from each other.
Hmm.
But like I would say, demographically, socioeconomically, they're a lot different.
It's very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very diverse district too, because
Yeah.
like you said, you have people, I have people who live in the Cascades and even out in, like I say, the crossing behind Fresh. I mean, you got close to $1 million homes there, and then you may have, in other parts of the city, you got other, lower income. So that's why I consider it a very diverse district. So, my platform has always been that what works for one neighborhood may not possibly work for the other one. So you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
you have to be.
That's a great point. Like I was mentioned to you before, we started recording, was that, I'd interviewed, Nick Pacina, who's candidate
Mhm.
for District 4, and
Right.
District 4 is kind of similar in that same regard, where
Hmm.
it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a microcosm of
Yeah.
Tyler itself.
Right.
District 2 is kind of that same way where,
Hmm.
yeah, you've got a lot of different kinds of diversity, a lot of different types of people, a lot
Yeah.
of different needs to that. So let me ask, how long have you been on city council? Um,
Um, I
yeah.
was elected. I was elected to this position in 2018.
Okay. So
In
this
May
so
in
it's a
May
two
of
term.
2018. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, this will be my second term.
I got you. I got you.
So yeah. So it's every 2 years,
I
but we
got
can
you.
serve up to 6 years.
I got you. Okay. Okay. So what are some things that you maybe have for your district, and like you said, different things in in different neighborhoods. So what are
Hmm.
some of the things that you're maybe most proud of, or that you've been able to kind of do for your district in the time?
Well, I mean, several accomplishments. I would say probably one of the main ones is the new fire station, which is built on the corner of Gentry and Palace. I mean, it's like the largest fire station that the city has right now.
Mhm.
And so I think that's a great accomplishment to have that in our district. It serves, that area, plus, pretty much the whole city, but it's just good to have that fire station there. And also right behind that fire station, we're starting a new development, Hidden Palace subdivision,
Okay.
So we'll have homes, brand new homes for people to purchase. They're already putting the infrastructure in the streets and everything like that. So that's going to be great coming up here in the next year or so. We spent a lot of money on our parks. There's about 4 or 5 parks in District 2. And so each one of those parks have been touched with some type of, finance from the city. So we're just trying to get all those. Like Fun Forest is in my district. So Fun Forest got pretty much a whole new facelift. I mean, a new pool, um, new fields and different things like that. So it's coming along pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great
Yeah.
to hear. I mean, because I think, that's especially when you talk about like new development,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of times when, people talk about business and business development. Well, one thing that a lot of businesses look at is
Rooftops.
or
Yeah.
rooftops, rooftops on homes. So
Exactly.
that you're able
Exactly.
to, the fact that you're putting in a brand new subdivision, that's coming into that part of town, that's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to make it a lot more attractive for
It is. It
for
is.
business, especially in that part of town where sometimes people kind of tend to think maybe there isn't as much business as what there should be.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
And also we have we just broke ground on a new development downtown. I don't know if you saw that one, but have some new townhomes that are going to be built downtown, and that's going to help to start revitalizing the downtown area.
yeah.
We have businesses and restaurants, but there's not a lot of places to live, downtown. But you have people who like that, they want that type of living. And so
And
and it's right across the street really from the police department. So that
yeah,
should be pretty safe, I'm thinking.
yeah, I would hope. I would hope so.
I would hope so, right?
I would really hope so. Because that's the thing is that I know a handful of people who live downtown, and that's the thing because if you look downtown, you really don't realize there are as many people who live downtown.
Yeah, right.
Because there's not like just apartment buildings. It's just you have a bunch
They're
of
not.
lots, and you have
Yeah, exactly.
you have a lot of housing that was retrofitted. They were office
Mhm.
buildings at some point.
Exactly. But no new development.
But no new development
This
there.
is going to be the first new development downtown Tyler has seen in a long time as far as
And that's great
residential.
because you've been hearing a lot of it. There's been all those buildings there. Hey, we're going to tear this down. We're going to retrofit it. We're going to set this up. So it's good that we finally finally have something that's coming in place so people can have that opportunity to be able to live downtown and have some of
Right.
especially with all the new shops and especially the new
Exactly.
restaurants
Yep.
and things like that and that effort
Yep. There's a lot of new things that are happening downtown.
to have that revitalization effort.
Yep.
So about yourself, you're a native Tylerite, so just kind of
I
let
am.
people know about yourself, where you were at before you joined city council.
Well, before that, I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for about 2 years, and so that's how I kind of got my pathway into the city council, and it's been a great ride. Professionally, I'm in the human resources profession. I've been doing that for over 20 years. I'm also a musician. I serve at 2 different congregations every Sunday morning.
Oh wow!
I have a 9:30 service, and then I have another church at 11:30. And so I'm the music minister for both of those congregations. I'm a licensed insurance agent. So I got a lot going on. I'm a property manager. I have properties that I manage, and so I stay pretty busy. But it's nothing that to where a lot of people think that well, how do you do all that? Well, it's called time management.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't be at every event. You can't do everything that people ask you to do, but you do the things that are important and the things that that have merit to it.
Because you mentioned you're an insurance agent, or do you do property and casualty, or you do life?
I do life.
Life.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm mostly life. Yeah, that's what I'm more concerned about. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a property and casualty license.
Do you? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I've been.
I'm trying to educate our people on life insurance. It's so tough. I'm so tired of seeing the GoFundMe pages and where I
Yeah.
know sometimes you don't have a choice, but I'm just trying to educate people on the importance of having life insurance.
Yeah, and having something, because even though I'm in the property and casualty game,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made this official announcement yet, but I'm actually moving agencies.
Oh, okay.
The agency I had been out with the past year. Yesterday was my last day, and then so
Oh, okay.
the next week or so, I'm moving. I'm with with Allstate, and so I'm moving to another Allstate agency.
I got you. Okay.
Here in the next few weeks. And I sat down and I talked to my new agency owner today, and one thing she told me was she's like, probably in the next 6 months I'm gonna have you get your life license.
Yeah.
Because we do, even though I'm just licensed to sell and bind property accounts. We still have to we're really the tip of the iceberg for that conversation a lot of times.
Yeah, right.
We do talk to even, hey, we've protected your home, we've protected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we've given you an umbrella policy.
Right.
What do you have outside of work? What happens if, because that's a lot of people. I've got life insurance outside of work.
Yeah.
What happens when you lose that? What happens
exactly.
when you change jobs?
Right.
You lose that job.
Right.
I worked for the biggest employers in Tyler for 5 years. Health insurance, and had health insurance, and had a life insurance plan. And if something had happened to me when I was employed by there, I don't have any children, but I know my parents, my brother, they would have been able to bury me. My brother's a teenager still. He would have been set up nicely. I would give him a cushion or anything like that. But I don't have to, So that's an important, but something I plan on getting here. Later.
Yeah, because we insure, like you said, we insure everything else. We have insurance on our phones, we have insurance on our cars. But sometimes our life is the last thing we think about.
The life is the last thing that we think about on that. And like you said, especially amongst our people, is that
I know, right?
You think about it, but I've had that conversation with people where it's like, what happens, you're young, you're 20, 30 years old. It's not that life insurance doesn't get any cheaper.
No, right. So that's the time to buy it. Yeah, that's the time to buy it.
The time to buy it is when you're healthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had a cousin of mine who passed away. He was in his early 60s, early to mid 60s last year. And he didn't start looking for life insurance until it was too late for him. He knew it was.
Wow.
He'd had a couple of strokes and things like that.
Yeah, it's too late then.
So he was looking for it, but he really didn't. He couldn't get anything until it was, because he had waited too late for it. So. So that's a really important thing to talk about. And that part of also why I do this page is to kind of inform people on that, not only what's going on in the city, what's going on with business and the arts and stuff like that, but having those kind of conversations about making sure that you're properly protected, because life insurance and also with like your liability when it comes to the PNC game. You go out and you're driving around state minimums on your car insurance.
Yeah.
Out in a city like Tyler, where you got a lot of people with nice rides, and you total somebody's car, that because you wanted to have the cheapest thing possible. You may have put yourself in a hole worth of tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you're right. That is exactly right.
But I do like that, and I did I saw that like on like the city page. I looked you up like a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
so I do appreciate what I guess you could say the hustle game.
Yeah, man. Because I'm telling you, you can't ever put all your eggs in one basket.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to. That's what I'm trying to do here, is just trying to diversify.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing there. So, what are some challenges? Like, what are some of the challenges that maybe your district faces? Like you said, you've got totally different neighborhoods. You've got some diverse areas. So, what are some of the things in your time as the representative of the people, on the city level that that your district has faced, or maybe you have faced, handling these things?
Well, I would say probably streets. I get a lot of complaints about the streets, in our district. And so that is one of the main things that I want to start working on next year, is to try to make sure we get enough money allocated, to where we can kind of start working on some of the streets in District 2. That's one of the things. And also, just the, what we talked about earlier, the development, if we can get more rooftops and more residential, buildings in our area, that's going to definitely increase, the participation from other businesses, retail, restaurants, and those different kind of places like that. that we really need, in the west part of Tyler.
Yeah.
Now we started, before COVID hit, so COVID kind of, messed up everything. But before COVID started, we were really working hard on getting the new Rose Complex built. So we are going to get a new conference center that would be taking the place of Harvey Hall.
Okay. And where's
So
that going to be located at again?
it's going to be on the same site.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Harvey Hall will be demolished, and we will
Okay.
build a new conference center on that site.
Say the art. Yeah, that's
Yeah, state of the art. You said it right. Yes, it's going to be a state of the art conference center.
I think that's one thing that Tyler needs is that
yeah.
I've had conversations about how there's Tyler's kind of a city that, like, if you wanted to buy stock in it,
yeah,
really, people it's a city that you want to buy stock in, because it is one of, as I found out in my previous interview, it is one of the cities, it is like one of two cities in the state of Texas that the population is actually getting younger.
Yeah, for real, it is.
Yeah. The average age is actually like 33 years old.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And we kind of like to think of it, oh, it's just some retirement community. It's where people come.
But it's not. It's more than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do, and it is a great place to retire.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a great place. If you're looking to get a start and set up a family, it's a good place.
Yeah, it's a great place to raise a family, to start a family, and with the new medical school coming, we're going to have an influx of students here, and people who may have never even heard of Tyler, Texas. They will be coming here to visit, and I'm telling you, we gotta be ready for it. One thing somebody asked me about traffic, like, what about traffic? Why is traffic? Well, I don't think we were prepared. I think that we just had a big boom all of a sudden. It's like, wow, now we have traffic in Tyler.
I mean, especially like you're talking about, like Old Jackson, that stretch of Old Jackson.
Oh my God,
and that's the worst. I mean, it is.
It's terrible. Yeah, I made the mistake of going down Old Jacksonville one time at 5 o'clock.
I was working on that part of town up until yesterday. And when I get off, I normally will go, and I normally like to go downtown. And so, like, going north on Old Jacksonville, that time is fine.
You're fine, but don't try to go south.
But don't try to go south.
Don't do it.
And I grew up in Bullard.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at Suddenlink on the west end in the west end of town, and then if I went down, and that would be usually the way I would go home. Right. Oh yeah, that was going, especially even in Tyler, but even like traffic doesn't really start to clear up until you get to Flint, and it's even worse now because they're doing all that construction on 24.
Exactly. Yeah.
Between Flint and Gresham, they're widening out that whole stretch of road.
Right.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember that even like that stretch from like Gresham to like the Brookshires Recreation Center was like a one-lane highway coming into town.
Oh wow.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
I can remember that like as a kid, like vaguely. If we ever had to come up into town that way, growing up, but it's incredible to kind of see the growth, and like you said, people who may not even know Tyler. And it was funny. I was having a conversation just this morning, and I was talking to when you're in other parts of the state or you're outside of Texas, and you're telling people where you're from, and I was kind of joking that the only people who tell me, when I tell people that I'm from Tyler, Texas, only people who tell me, who act like they've never heard of Tyler, Texas, are people from Dallas. Look, I've had people, your nephew and I went to Minnesota last year, and we went to Paisley Park. I'm a huge Prince fan.
Oh wow!
And I've got family up there, but we had I was like, we if I'm gonna be up there, we got to the Prince's house.
Yeah.
And we did the tour there was a woman in our tour group who was from Dallas.
Okay.
And when, she'd said she was from Texas, and when the tour was over, there was a little gift shop. We came up to her and we're like, hey, yeah, well, you said you're from Texas. We're from Texas. Where out in Texas are you from? She goes, oh, I'm from Dallas. I was like, oh, awesome. I was like, we're from Tyler. And she's like, huh? I'm like, Tyler, like, we're like
hour and a half away. Yeah.
Just like 100 miles away from you. She's like, I've never heard of it. I don't, what? I'm like,
wow.
but then when we're leaving though, the security,
Uh-huh.
because you can't have your phone on in
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah.
They lock it under key, and they put in a security pouch and everything. They make you shut your phone off, put in a security pouch and everything. And
Uh-huh.
the guy who was born and raised in Minnesota, everything like that. Where are you guys from? I said, oh, we're from Tyler, Texas. He's like, Earl Campbell.
See there?
And so it's funny how it's just like we were just having that conversation where like I've been in other parts of the country,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and people, you tell people Tyler, Texas, and they're like, oh yeah, I know Tyler, or oh, I've
Uh-huh.
got family, I've got family in Longview, or I've got like my father's from this area, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny, like, and I that's literally like from coast to coast. I've had those conversations, except in Dallas, where
Yeah.
people have no earthly idea where
They,
Tyler.
I guess they just try to forget it, huh?
Yeah,
They try to forget Tyler, but yeah.
but that's what we're trying to make sure that we're trying to keep Tyler lit, hence the name.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
But
Right.
we want to make sure that Tyler, is it perfect in a lot of ways? Does it have everything? No, I'm not
No.
gonna lie about that. But
Right.
it's that there is a genuine charm to the city, and there is something that can be offered if you build it and when you put it
Exactly. Yeah.
together and things like that.
Exactly.
And I
Yep.
think because we are a city that is actually one of the that is trending younger, I
Yep.
think, I'm 31 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, a lot of people my age and a lot of people who are younger than I am want to see that change happen and want to build and
Right.
want to develop and
Right.
want to stay here and make something of it. Whereas,
Mm-hmm.
it is easy to have the temptation to go to Dallas or go to
Well,
Houston
of course.
or go to
Yeah.
Austin, but the thing is like cost of living is so much higher. But
Mm-hmm.
if we build it, then, I guess if you build it, they will come.
Well, yeah, and they are, and we have some really great leaders, in our, the different city departments, and I'm telling you, man, they're on top of it. They're making sure that Tyler is one of the premier cities that people, are looking at. And so it's going to be, here in the next 3 years, we're going to be attracting some
Yeah.
major businesses here. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited about the future of this city.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I am as well. And I think there's already so much talent and
Mm-hmm.
so much energy here that's what
Yeah.
that I think a lot of people just don't grasp.
Right. Exactly.
Because there's some maybe not so pretty stuff about Tyler.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think that people just can't get past, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But to kind of peel back the layers a little bit and kind of see that, hey, there's a new bud growing.
It is. It
And,
is.
it's if we talk about roses, there's a new bud growing,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
I think is something that will be beautiful
Right. Exactly.
and everything like that. So, I guess I'll ask you this: we mentioned the time of COVID. How has like the campaign swing kind of been different? I know in this case you're the incumbent. So how has that kind of been? Has that been any different for you this time?
Well, yeah, because we were supposed, this election was originally scheduled for May.
Yeah.
And so here we are, in November, and it's, it's a little different. And what I can say is, I do think that it's going to be better as far as getting people out to vote, because typically during city elections, people just don't vote in those elections.
Yeah.
In our last election in 2018, there were probably about 650 votes, if that many, out of about 12,000 people that live in District 2. And so that's not even 5%. And so, the only good thing I think is going to come out of this is, it is going to bring out more people, to vote. And so maybe that'll kind of spark that interest in, city government, because, your city leaders, those are the ones that make the local decisions, for your neighborhoods and your communities. So we need people to understand that. And so
Yeah.
you got to have the right people in office who have the best interests at heart, of the community and the city. And so that's why it's very important for people to, to exercise their right to vote in those elections.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Yeah.
these are the things that, we, as you said, this election in November is
Mm-hmm.
tense on a national level, I guess.
Very, very. Yeah, that's a good word.
And I know when, and I'll be upfront. I remember when, about 2 months ago, when we were kind of formulating this idea for it, and like I said, your nephew, D-Phil. I'm getting back used to calling him D-Phil. I always call him Daryl because I was gonna call people by their government names.
Well, he will always be DJ to me. I don't care what all the other names are.
Well, that's a good one. I'll want to call him that. I may have that. But he had mentioned, like, when we were talking about who can we talk to and who can we mention, he mentioned you. You were one of the, he's my uncle. He was name dropping. And I was like, well, at first I was like, well, like maybe I want to, I was focusing on the business and maybe the arts and maybe, the creative side of it. And then I it kind of hit me. I was like, well, we can talk about we can talk about the political process without having to maybe necessarily touch on like more tense national issues.
Yeah.
I don't, but still understanding that, hey, if we're really wanting to grow this community, we really need to have the conversation about our local representation.
Exactly.
And introduce people to who our local representation is, and so they can, because like you said, people like you, and other people on the city council, county government, and even on the state level, those individuals have a much more prominent effect on our lives, our day-to-day lives. When it's talking about traffic, it's talking about zoning, it's talking about building developments, allocating funds to our parks, things like that, than who's in the White House.
Right, exactly.
That had, not to say that there's less than that, but it's just that's a kind of a different. That's a more of a macro thing, but when we're talking about on the micro level and just zoomed in our community, it's important for people to be able to have access to individuals like yourself and
right.
So
gotcha.
Really just a few other little things to just kind of touch base on. I always kind of like to say, like, regardless of what happens in November 3rd, whatever the results are or anything like that. What are some of the things that you've taken away from your time, that you've been able to take away from your time on city council? And what are your hopes for the future, regardless of the results on November 3rd?
Well, like I say, one of the main takeaways is I have come to really appreciate, the way the city government operates. Getting in, meeting the staff, the people that make it happen every day, your police, your fire, we have, great, like I said earlier, we have really great staff, at the city. And so that's one of my main takeaways is, I will go away with a great appreciation that, the people that we have in place, will carry on, the vision, of others. And then also, but if win or lose or whatever, I'm going to stay involved. There are so many different things, different boards or different committees that you can serve on. And so, I want to stay involved, with the city to kind of, to help these things, go along, because a lot of times, it's easy to sit back and point fingers and say, well, they should do this or they should do that. But, if you're a part of that, then you can help change that. You can help be that catalyst for change and catalyst for growth. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. Like I said, whatever happens in November happens, but you're still not going to, not see me. I'm still going to be around.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that mentality. One way or another, still.
Yeah, right. Because some people
pouring yourself into the city.
Yeah, and then some people, then you never hear from them again.
Yeah,
and that's not it. So it's kind of like, well, what was your main focus then? Because you still can be involved. Even before I was in an elected position, even though this is still a voluntary position, it was not when I was on planning and zoning, I was not elected to planning and zoning. I was appointed. So there's a difference. And so there are other things that I can be doing besides this. So I'm just looking forward to it.
So, what's any way that, anybody who watches this, if they want to be able to reach out to you, like, that email, social media, like, what's some of the best ways that they can maybe get get in contact with you directly?
Social media is I have my social media, my Facebook, my personal Facebook, and I have my Broderick McGee campaign Facebook. And just kind of like you did, you just kind of reached out, through me that way. And so that's really really a good way to get me. But, if it's city related, things, you can reach me at bmcgee@tylertexas.com. And so just reach out to me if you have any questions.
All right. Well, Councilman McGee, I really appreciate you taking some time
Sure.
this evening to talk to me, talk to the Lit Tyler Collective, talk to people, in Tyler, in the greater Tyler area, and let them know what's going on in the district. Best of luck to you. First off, thank you for everything that you have done up until this
Thank
point,
you.
and
Thank
best
you.
of luck to you. And, we're on the home stretch in these next, 30 some odd days.
Right. Yeah. I'm
So
ready for it to be over with.
good luck to you on that. And
All right.
once again, everybody, appreciate you watching this. Don't forget, like the page on Facebook, Lit Tyler Collective, on Instagram @Lit Tyler Collective, and then also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also Lit Tyler Collective. Appreciate you all. You guys have a wonderful day. Councilman McGee, once again,
Thank you.
for your time. You have a wonderful day.
Take care. You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.